Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I am Sean Anderson, Most Valuable Podcast, and the upcoming segment is from our full Fast Break podcast that we recorded. And if you do want to check out that full podcast, head over to Blog Talk Radio /The Fast Break. You'll be able to find the full podcast over there. But moving on, we got a lot of trade deadline stuff to talk about, and there was a deal between OKC and the Bulls that people were pissed about. If you want to see the reactions from Bulls fans, check out the Behind the Pen segment where it's same Bulls, different year. And Ricky and Rankin go deep onto the Bulls trade. But let's talk about it. It was a trade that sent Cameron Payne, Joffrey Laverne, and Anthony Morrow to the Bulls for Doug McDermott, Taj Gibson, and an unprotected 2018 second-round pick. And we're going to focus more on OKC since Behind the Pen talked about the Bulls. We'll talk about the Bulls a little bit, but more on the OKC side, getting Doug McDermott, getting Taj Gibson, somehow getting a second-round pick for this. I think that's utterly ridiculous. We got fleeced.
Yeah,
they stole this trade. Does adding Dougie and does adding Taj make this Thunder team a threat in the West?
I think it definitely makes it more interesting. Threat is a strong term. I mean, look, anytime you add someone who
we got to get clicks. Come on.
Okay. Clickbait.
Threat. It's not a clickbait because we're asking the question.
Yep.
There's still an argument to have.
Okay. So let's go total upside. Taj Gibson has been the heart and soul of the Bulls team for the entire time he was there. So what he brings to this Thunder team is a level of toughness and a locker room presence that you can't put a value on. Awesome. He's going to go out there. He's going to give 100% every night. His minutes have been ridiculous because he has been a secondary player. So you're getting a guy who never averaged over 29 minutes in his career, which is awesome because that means even though he is, 31?
Yeah.
He hasn't played the minutes like a 31-year-old would. So upside there is, again, awesome locker room guy. He's going to give it his all. And he's fantastic defensively. And if you get him on a roll, he can be that guy on offense. It's not his normal role. He'll just get his around 10 and 10. You know, that's his thing. Upside for McDermott, dude, I wish the best for him because he's been one of the players who I think has been just shot in the foot over and over by this Bulls organization. And going to a system where Russell Westbrook will create so much for you, I think he's going to benefit hugely from the open looks. I think that he's still a good shooter. His stroke is good. I think it was just a bad system and a bad fit in Chicago that forced him to play out of role. And again, he also can drive to lane, which doesn't look like he should, but he can, and it's awesome. He's a great offensive guy. He just needs to get rolling again in the right place.
And if they play the Raptors, then Dougie's going to go off for 39.
Oh my God, poor Raptors. That is just ooh.
But really, I think it's a fantastic trade from the Thunder side because you add a guy
how the hell did they get a second?
I don't know. It's the Bulls. But really, Taj Gibson, I mean, you talked about his heart and soul. You talk about his playoff experience as well. I mean, he's fantastic.
Oh, man, that dunk in the... that dunk.
It was over LeBron, right?
That dunk.
Yeah, that dunk. Again, I'm not the Bulls fan like Ricky is, but he's a guy that averages around 50% in the playoffs, averages around 21 minutes per game in the playoffs. He's been there before, played 56 total games in his career in the playoffs. He's a guy that has veteran leadership. He's a guy that has postseason experience, a guy that can stretch the floor a little bit, not going to stretch it out to three effectively.
But he'll give you like a 12 to 14 footer maybe.
Yeah, and he's really good baseline. He's really good with the ball. He's really good in the post, and a guy that grabs around like 2 offensive rebounds per game. So if Russ does miss a layup, if Russ misses a shot, Taj Gibson will be right there.
He can extend that play, definitely.
And now if you put him next to a guy like Steven Adams, who really can't stretch the floor, then you're going to have a nice duo between those two, and you're not going to have to play Kyle Slinger as much, which is fantastic. But that's the thing is like you add a guy with so much veteran leadership and so much postseason experience that Taj Gibson can really change this team where, Russ, where he is going to create, he's going to be able to get it to Taj Gibson more. Taj is a decent passer as well. He's going to be able to swing it around. So Taj is a kind of experience, is kind of what you hoped for from Kendrick Perkins when you brought him into the Thunder. Obviously, he was much bigger and out of shape and not the same Kendrick Perkins from the Celtics, but still, that's the kind of what you were looking for is that veteran leadership, and now you're going to get that from Taj Gibson. And on the Dougie side, I mean, again, like you said, he's going to be more comfortable. He's going to be much comfortable playing in a role that's going to be, he's going to find him more open looks. He's going to find him more space to play. He's going to be more of a guy coming off the bench instead of, forcing to be a six man where he's going to be playing with a guy that in Russell Westbrook that can create a lot of shots for him. So looking at Dougie, I think it's an interesting move where it might not truly pay off for them because he might completely flop and he might have just been a bust all along.
I mean, if he stays where he's at now, he's he's an okay bench player. That's about all you're going to get out of him.
And
that's not terrible.
Yeah, if he shoots around 35% from three, that's not terrible. If he gets you 10 points a game and shoots like 42% from the field, that's probably what you want. 42, 35, and
last year he was a great 3-point shooter, and I don't think it just goes away. I think he truly will thrive in a better system with better guys around him. So I'm not. Again, that is the downside of this. It's okay. We're taking a shot on him. The upside, like you said, it's Taj. Like, you're going to get an anchor down low who's going to give you as much passion for the game. He's, I don't want to say the same level as Russell Westbrook, because that man is like on like the MJ Kobe level of competitive. But Taj is in it to win it. Like, the dude cares about the game, and I think that Russ is going to really like playing with him.
And you talk about the mileage too. It's not a lot of mileage on Taj, a guy that really hasn't been banged up in his career, a guy that's played as much as he possibly can throughout his whole career with the Chicago Bulls. And again, postseason experience, the lowest amount of games he's played is around 65, 62. He's been a little banged up, but never like truly completely out of it. So you're going to have a very reliable guy, and you need that in the postseason, where if Cantor and Adams does slow up, or Cantor punches a fucking chair like we've seen before, you're going to need someone to reel him back in. And that's one thing where you're not going to ever make up what you had in Durant. You're never going to be able to make that up. But you will be able to at least supplement that, where you can, improve your stock from a 7th seed all the way up to maybe a 5th seed. And you're going to get a better matchup. You're going to be able to play the Clippers, where, obviously the Clippers are a better team, but at least
are they now? That's where I want to take it. Think about that matchup now.
Well, you look at that. You got DeAndre versus probably Adams, and then you have Blake versus Taj. Taj is a good defensive player.
Yeah.
Small forward, now you got Dougie if he does end up starting, or you got Roberson, who's a decent 3-and-D player, and
the 3 is non-existent. Okay. The man can't shoot.
Okay, he's a good D player.
Yep.
You got Dougie, who's 3. So they have 3-and-D.
It's just 2 separate guys.
They have Doug and Roberson. And then
just duct tape them together.
And they got Oladipo versus Redick, who obviously Redick's a better shooter, Oladipo's more athletic, and then you got 2 of the best point guards in the league, in CP3 and Russ. So I think it's going to be
that series. Yeah.
But then again, you got Austin Rivers, who's been playing out of his mind, and you have guys. I trust that bench of the Clippers more, where if Crawford does find a shot a little bit more, where he did last night, he was finding his rhythm a little bit. If Crawford can find a shot and Rivers can find a shot, and then you also have Mamba Buta coming off that bench, you have
just
players there.
Just most Bates.
And most Bates. So I think the Clippers are still a top 5 team. I don't think this makes the Thunder the team that we thought they were coming into the year.
I knew Westbrook was going to ball out. But
we all did.
But, dude, he's put that team on his back so hard, and I feel for him, because dragging this team kicking and screaming into the playoffs. But
at least Presti has made moves to at least lighten that load for him, and at least make it easier for him. So that's one thing where Russ is going to get some pressure taken off him. I don't think they're a top 5 team in the West. I'm sorry, I don't think they're a top. I don't think they're a top 5 team in the West, because I think the Jazz are better than them too. But I think they at least does make their standing a little bit better. I think they give it a little bit trouble now, and it does make it easier for Westbrook, and at least says to Westbrook, we are going to give you help, and you're not going to be completely alone here.
But you're also shipping off a struggling Cameron Payne, so you're taking away one of the backups for him.
And one of his best friends.
And, one of his best friends.
But still, you're shipping off Morrow and Laverne. You're not losing much. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, and we'll move it towards the Bulls now, because I don't think it doesn't make them a threat in the West.
No.
Because the West is
makes
too damn
better,
good.
But the upside is Taj can compete in a series too. So I like that. Like you said, you talk about the playoff experience. So final note on them, it doesn't make them, they're not going to go out and take out the Warriors in 4. No chance in the world. But what it does mean is they're going to give you a good playoff series. And I think Russ is, I know he already signed the deal, but it's like, it's giving some more credibility to hey, we're going to build around you. We're going to make this work.
And say Dougie finds a shot and
if he gets back above 40% from 3, huge.
And you still have Doug for a while now. I don't think his contract's coming up super soon. I think at least you have him for another year. Taj's contract's obviously coming up. You might not be able to re-sign him, but at least you'll have something in Doug McDermott. If he is able to get up to that 40%, you'll at least have a sharpshooter from the outside. And I think that's really beneficial to a guy like Russell Westbrook. I don't think it's going to be something where it pushes him over the Jazz, Clippers, Rockets, Spurs, or Warriors, but I think it's definitely something that improves your team, and showing Russ that is definitely going to help his morale and kind of his passion for the game. Thank you. Oh, shit. Oh, it's just one of our videos scared me a little bit. Don't forget to check out that one. And also don't forget to check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. But thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.